From JA to UK to LA and everywhere else now, this is a podcast strictly influenced by Jamaican music, brought to you by Eric Kohler and Junor Francis. Well, if you're driving in your car or you're sitting home alone, the Junior entertain you on his microphone with the history of LA Ska. Yeah, hear stories from a guest while we all have a blast. From LA to Jamaica, it's in the podcast. The history of LA Ska. Of LA Ska, yeah. It's the history. Yes, it is. Of LA Ska. History of LA Ska, yeah. It's the history. Yes, it is. Of LA Ska. Of LA Ska. It's the history of LA Ska. One more time, yeah. It's the history of LA Ska.
Welcome to the History of LA Ska one-on-one sessions. I'm your host, Junor Francis, alongside our producer and my good friend, Eric Kohler. This series celebrates the ska, rocksteady, and vintage reggae scene in Southern California and beyond through insightful conversations with legends and modern-day talent, including those behind the scene. And we have a lot of people working behind the scene. We want to really and truly thank each and every one. Hence, whether you listen to this podcast series, watch us on YouTube, many thanks for your support. And please remember to subscribe, comment, and it's very important that you share and tell a friend. In this episode, we welcome members of the veteran Orange County, California-based ska punk group, the Goodwin Club. We have singer, songwriter, Tami Demaree, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Saxophonist Dean Medford and guitarist Jesse Wilder, just as equally as important.
Thank you, Junior. It's great to meet you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. And let's add, in case there's a commotion around Jesse. Jesse, you're coming in live from
Boston, right by the House of Blues.
And you just finished what?
Finished the show with Less Than Jake, Suicide Machines, Bite Me Baby, and Fishbowl.
All right.
That was Suicide
Yeah,
Machine.
heavy.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah,
And as luck would have it, I kind of know all of those
that
groups.
must have been really heavy.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you joining from the East Coast, 3 hours ahead. And Tommy and Dean, where are you coming in from?
I'm in Hawaii
Oh, wow. All right.
because that's where my family's from. So I'm there visiting for a few days.
Nice.
And I'm leaving for tomorrow for Japan. But yeah.
Wow.
I'm in
All
Hawaii.
right. We caught you just in time.
You probably own your own jet.
Oh, you, Dean?
Yeah, I'm not so lucky. I'm coming in from Southern California.
What's wrong with
I
Southern
work every day,
California?
so.
How many people want to come here? Are you kidding me?
Don't forget, we're in SoCal too. But multiple time zones, yes. So looking forward to this, and we want to thank our mutual friend Daryl Rubio for hooking us up here. Shout out to Daryl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gift Dog and great new podcast, Scott History Hour as well.
And Rich, who was supposed to join us, but
Yes,
he's slightly under the weather.
and Rich, yes, correct. We'll get him next
Yeah.
time. So let's dive in. Let's start with what kind of music were you all exposed to as youths? Tommy, let's start with you.
So I actually was really lucky. My parents were super into reggae. So I grew up like listening to that and going to concerts. I think my very first concert I ever went to was Yellow Man. Like that was like their jam. And so that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And then like I, found my own music and stuff and, went a different way. And then, so it was when the Goodwin Club kind of came around, it was like, I kind of knew the sound already, so it was a kind of natural progression.
Yeah, Yellow Man, going deep and big. Jesse, what about you? As Jesse shows us the streets of Boston. I love it.
I'm trying to get away from the noise.
No, you're good. You're good. We've interviewed, I'm trying to think here. We interviewed Vernon Maytone of the Maytones. He was in his car.
Mhm.
I don't know if we've had anyone walk in the streets yet. So this is a first.
Okay, because I thought I was going to be in the van, but the band was like, let's go out for a beverage. And I'm like, all right.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, what kind of music were you exposed to? Yeah,
Well, it's interesting because I just played with Dancehall Crashers, and I got all fanboy on them for a second because when my first band started practicing in my living room, California Ska Quake was like in rotation, and we were like, we don't know how to play songs yet, so let's play these other people's songs, right?
Way to go.
yes.
So dancehall was definitely like in the mix at that point, and then we kind of like, in a way, went backwards, right? We're like started with dancehall, but somehow like went back to Prince Buster and like,
Right.
oh shit, like this is like the origin, like know the roots.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess that feels like where I started, but like playing with dancehall was crazy to me because I'm like, this is what I played in my living room with my first band.
So you just played with Dancehall Crashers at DC Warped Tour?
No, we did a one-off in San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco, yes, at Great American Music Hall up there.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, that's super cool though.
Did you give me a shirt?
I did get you a shirt. I got you a shirt. It's in my suitcase. It probably stinks, but I got you a shirt.
Okay. Thank you.
I love it. Dean, how about you?
I'm the complete opposite direction. I grew up on like John Denver and Anne Murray. And then, of course, I grew up in the 80s. So I love saxophone because, everything from Beastie Boys to all the pop songs that had saxophone. That's why I started playing saxophone.
And a lot of that in the 80s.
That was the case in the 80s, a lot of saxophone?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. A lot of, even better, my saxophone, because everyone plays tenor saxophone, which they should. But I play alto because alto was the big saxophone in the 80s. I mean, you're talking about, Wham and soundtracks from Lost Boys and stuff like that, Beastie Boys. Like they all played the saxophone, so that was kind of my inspiration. My dad told me when I first heard these Beastie Boys Brass Monkey that they weren't really playing saxophone. He was just honking notes and it wasn't really playing. But guess what? I wanted to do that. So that's what I learned how to do.
Right. So your dad was your dad a musician?
My dad was a little bit of a piano
in order
player.
to make that statement,
My mom's
right?
side had all the musicality. My mom's side, everyone played trumpet on my mom's side, and they encouraged me to play trumpet. But I didn't want to do it. I want to be a little different. And again, I grew up in the 80s. The 80s had a lot of saxophones. So,
See, wasn't your dad a really accomplished saxophone player?
What?
Jesse, wasn't your dad a saxophone player?
No, he played music, but not saxophone. The story goes that I played saxophone very poorly in the Goodwin Club before I started playing guitar, like real bad. Like call me for bad sax. I wanted to get cards that said that. But no, the story goes that my very first saxophone that I learned to play on was the saxophone that belonged to the guy from Back to the Future.
What?
In the band, the band at the
hence the 80s
that
reference.
was my first saxophone that I played on. That was his saxophone. Don't know how that really happened through my mom,
right? So continues to walk us back in time. What was each of your Ska baptism?
Like our first show you went to or something?
Yes.
Like
yes.
Or perhaps the first time you heard Ska.
Well, for me, my first ska show I ever went to I can't remember which one was first. I think it was No Doubt and then the Knuckle Brothers.
Okay.
Probably went like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember where and around what year?
So No Doubt would have been, it was at like at UCI, I think, like outside some, I don't know, like free show they were playing. That had to have been like 92 or 93, maybe. Probably more like 92. And then Knuckle Brothers was probably like soon after that, probably at the Ice House or like Old World. I can't really remember, but all OC,
Right. How about you, Dean?
Mine's kind of funny, actually. So I, in like 93 or so, got on with Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, More Noise and Other Disturbances. But my first ska show because I didn't play in the band yet, was actually the Goodwin Club. It was a Goodwin Club show playing with the Tantra Monsters and Skank and Pickle.
Wow.
And I'll be honest, the band that took it all away, which I went to go see Skank and Pickle, was the Goodwin Club. And I could not believe how amazing they were. And that's where my love grew, and I really want to be a part of the band.
And
they're amazing.
That night you said, I'm going to be in the band someday?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, actually, no. But I had my own band.
Was not large.
I had my own band, and I said, my band is going to play here. This is at the Showcase Theater in Corona, which is kind of a famous place.
Yes.
I said, we're going to play here in a year from now with my band.
And what band was that?
We were called Hopscotch. It was myself and Rich, who was our trombone player as well, and our producer.
Yep.
And we actually played 2 days before, 1 year to that moment when we saw that band, because I looked over to him and told him, like, we're going to play this place in a year. During that year, I ended up joining the Goodwin Club and got connections with Isat, the owner, and found a way for us to play, But then after that, I started playing with Goodwin Club, and that's where it all started. It's been amazing ever since.
And we must actually say, so Iza just passed away.
I saw that.
Correct.
That today.
Yeah.
And Showcase Theater, both locations, right? And then Spanky's before that. I mean,
right.
Iza definitely was instrumental to the scene would be a lot different, if it wasn't for him and the venues that he brought online and booked. So big respect to Iza.
Yeah, agreed.
100%.
Jesse, what about you?
I'm pretty sure the first ska music that I heard was the Specials. But I don't think I knew what was happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is a different thing, but I didn't dive into it until later. And then, like I said, that whoever's on that California Ska Quake,
the
Skeletones, that's when I was like, oh, that's that thing that I heard before that I liked.
Right.
I didn't really. I wasn't even I was 15, so I wasn't even into music yet. So, but when it grabbed me hard. So my first show was, I remember holding my ticket in biology class.
Bragging.
Right. Yeah. I was like, I'm ready for the show. I've never been to a show. My friend said it's the best thing ever. No doubt, Skank and Pickle, Knuckle Brothers, Fat Guy Goes Nutso, who did a rendition of Inner Sandman. Well, it's like the riff to Inner Sandman, but they did Fight for Your Right to Party over top of it. But I did that. I went to that show, and I went and I saw the people, and I saw the camaraderie, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And seriously, the next day I went into school and I was like, I heard you play drums. I heard you play guitar.
You got recruited.
Do this now. And that was how I started my first band. I was like, just come to my living room and we're just going to do something. Because this has to happen.
Now, what was the name of your first band?
The Scholars.
And lasted for how long?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So not Isaac Green and Scholars, not the Scholars, but OC Scholars is what Tazy Phillips calls it.
Yeah.
That's members of Real Big Fish, and and Jay Lafayette, who now has gone on to do Yo Gabba Gabba, and that was my first band.
And where was that big concert that you were talking about?
That was in at the Park, which used to have tons of shows for a very short period of time.
Yeah. I mean,
that's like a John Panel situation.
Right. What a lineup that was, huh?
Yeah. No, it blew my mind.
Was that in Anaheim?
Oh yeah, that's right. Right down the street.
Was, right? Yeah. I remember playing it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
All right, so you touched on your first group. Dean, you mentioned sorry, what was the name of your first group?
Hopscotch.
Hopscotch, yeah, you did say that, right. Tommy, what was your first group that you played?
The Goodwin Club. I was 14. That was the start. I wasn't doing much before then.
You were 14 when you started?
Yeah.
Wow. Were your parents supportive?
Yes, 100%. We practice in their garage, so.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, they're full approval.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. I mean, that's pretty young.
Yeah, it's pretty young. Especially now that I have kids, I look at them, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, I was like playing in band for years at this point. Off the computer. Like,
Yes.
Yes, sir. So Tommy, please share if you were particularly influenced by any of the female singers from the ska or punk scene who came around before you.
oh yeah, like I definitely like the Selector, Body Snatchers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess Gwen to some capacity because she was just Orange County, basically, you know.
Sure. Right.
I love Dancehall Crashers.
Shout out to Elise.
Yeah, I would say like those are probably like my biggest female influences for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And for all of you, who were some of your broader influences?
Boy, what do you mean?
Just musical influences.
Like back then, I'm trying to think like, because
yeah.
in as far as the ska,
as you were
we're
getting
talking about
started.
ska right now.
Oh, or any musical influences.
Oh yeah, I don't. That's a lot. Dean, you're up.
Deal. All right. I don't have a whole lot, but like the Bird and Johnny Coltrane, as far as a saxophone player, I was really big into jazz growing up. Loved it, and to be honest, not a whole lot more. I mean, I've always been influenced just by the horns as a section.
Yeah.
Being a jazz band player, so like I've always loved hearing the horns in music. Again, I grew up in the 80s, so I love the instrumental and the soloist aspect of the saxophone, but to be honest, I always felt more at home when I was part of that group, you know? So like even Manhattan Transfer, like all sorts of stuff. But for the most part, a lot of jazz bands, Glenn Miller Orchestra, that was another big one for me. Like some stuff that doesn't really have to do with ska. After discovering ska, you know, I loved, like they talked about, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Less Than Jake's one of my huge bands as well. And used to go to No Doubt shows, used to go to meal ticket shows, used to go to Hippo shows, which Rich was a part of. Like all those bands were a huge influence on me as learning my craft being in a ska band. But I've always been jazz based, so I've always really loved the jazz musicians and respected them.
Right.
Debbie, Harry, and Madonna too.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, those are strong. Those are strong influences.
Madonna.
Jesse, any that came to mind?
He's either frozen or can't tell.
No, he look at him.
Are we good?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
You're good.
We're good.
Yes,
the light is fading.
Did I have a good freeze frame?
You're very methodical.
What I like about what Dean is saying about because I wasn't a horn player for like I said, I was terrible at saxophone in 5th grade, but I feel like since I've played ska music, like I always go like, oh, I'm gonna start a 3-piece. I can't. I need to have horns. I don't know what it is. Something about having horns in the music that I play is necessary. The way I orchestrate is like totally different. Like if I was just in a rock band, I think in high school, like I wouldn't feel the same way about music as I did if I didn't play in a ska band.
Sure.
You know, and I'm constantly a sponge. Like even like the show tonight, I'm like watching Less Than Jake play. I'm like, God, these motherfuckers are tight. Sorry for my cussing. But I was just like, I'm like watching like the horns are always like a thing for me. And when they're away, I'm like, yeah, this is like could be better with horns.
Yeah. Well, are you talking to two guys here who not musicians, but
live and die for
huge,
the horn. Live
huge
and
horn guys. Yeah.
Live and
so let's talk about now how the Goodwin Club was formed. And this was back in 93?
93, 94, yeah. Like 93 probably formed, 94 like playing regularly.
Right. So take us back.
Before that, at least 93.
Yeah, it was 93 probably, yeah.
Yeah.
How did it form? Actually, I was late I was the first generation of the band. They didn't have a singer until me, and then, but they had I think they had like 4 songs maybe. They were all people from our high school.
And who were they, if you could name check?
So Eric Hauser played bass. Charles Gray played guitar. He went on to the Aquabats. We had, who was playing drums back then? Greg Stalling was playing.
Greg the Leg.
And then
what about the original
we had
drummer,
Dan
Andy?
Off on sax. We had Pat McDonald on trombone. We had Adam Dybert on trumpet, also Aquabats. And later we had Corey Pollock on second guitar, went on to the Aquabats as well. And then Jesse came real soon after that. Like, I joined the band. We like learned our 4 songs, and then Jesse joined too.
Don't forget
Chris Scott was the other singer. In the beginning, we had a male and female singer in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And then Chris Scott, when we came back for a reunion, he became our drummer. Oh. And then
Right.
Because he had blown his voice out because he was in like hardcore bands his whole life, and he couldn't sing anymore. So became our drummer.
And then Dean, you joined not too long after.
Yeah, I want to say in like 94, 95, something like that. That's when Rich and I joined the band.
Right.
We got lucky.
It's because Dean and Rich came in like right as I was leaving. There was some sort of crossover, but I don't think.
So what happened really, I think, Jesse, is that I'm the younger of the band, and so most of the people went to college or moved on, and so it was either break up or fill in, right? And so that's when we got the new members. But yeah,
later. Yeah.
Right.
Technically, the Goodwin Club played their last show, and I finally got the balls to approach Tami and say, "Hey, I'm curious if you'd like to sing for my band, Hopscotch, which I mentioned earlier." And she ended up making the trek to our house up in Upland to come try out, and it was amazing. But my singer was kind of a douche, so it didn't work out. He was kind of rude to her, and she said, "Hey, would you like to play in the Goodwin Club? Because we need a saxophone player and a trombone player. Try and fill in." And then that's when Rich and I started playing with them. Oh. And we got to play with the Scotalites, which is huge.
Yes.
It's the Scotalites.
Yes.
Indeed.
Right. And what time period was that you played with the Scotalites?
95.
Yeah, it was 95, October
original
95.
members were around that time, 95. Yes.
Yeah.
And what venue in particular?
At Showcase Theater.
Showcase.
Yeah.
And Roland Alfonso was there. It was amazing.
Yeah, that might have been the one time that maybe I saw you all then.
But you heard a weird version of us because we were so nervous to play with them. We slowed down every song as slow as we could play.
Gotta be second generation for this show, man.
Yeah.
I think the flyer says, and it says the Goodwin Club, and in parentheses, an almost traditional ska band.
That's great. So which leads to the next question. Was that your first show as a Goodwin Club? Was that the first?
No.
No, not at all.
Our very first show
that it was at the high school.
Take us back to your first show.
Yeah, so that was at the Ice House. Well, if you don't include like a coffee shop where we played like 4 songs, but like our first real show was the Ice House, and it was with Sublime,
wow,
Game Face, Guttermouth, One Eye Open, Knuckle Brothers, and us. That was our first show.
Yeah, that's a huge first show.
Yeah, and we were so industrious as 14, 15-year-olds. That they were like, oh, there's not enough room on the main stage. So we went and built our own stage inside the Ice House because our trombone player, Pat, was Mormon, and in his church, they had this stage you could borrow. And so we borrowed this stage and we set up a full stage with like backdrops and everything.
What enemies necessary?
That is great. Yeah. I mean, hey, you got to take it into your own hands.
Stage 2.
Jesse, out there on the streets of Boston.
That was
He's frozen again.
Oh no, Jesse,
No,
the wanderer.
It's become a habit.
yeah. All right.
There you go.
Let me know when.
You're back.
You thought out.
You're back. It's like you're a correspondent. You're out on the streets. I love it.
Hang on.
Right.
Hello, Todd.
Your first official show and your best memory.
Any memories from that first show?
The best memory from that first show, or my best memory from the Goodwin Club?
The Goodwin Club when it was formed in '93.
Oh, dude. I mean, there's a reason why we're still doing it now. We always talk about how this is the only band. I tried to get bands to reunite for a show at Old World like last year, and everybody's like, no, nobody gets along anymore. But this band somehow does. I don't really understand it. Sure, each other feel like it, but this band has just always been fun. It's always been about the fun.
Right.
And I won't say above the music, but sometimes we, even though like the parts, like let's say like the horn lines were always there. There was always like a good horn line. Did we play them immaculately? No. But did we have a good time? Yes. So I would say 9 times out of 10, like it was just always a good show. Like I've never had a bad Goodwin Club experience, except for maybe if I, had too much to drink. I don't know.
Well, and the fun experience on stage definitely comes across right to your fans. I mean, a band could play, they could be top-notch musicians, but be boring on stage or not have fun, right? Not get along. So that's it's great you mentioned that about your group.
I just think that when you went to go see the gun before I was in it, I'm like, yeah, I just want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that club without even like thinking about like joining the club. I was just like, yeah, let's jump into that. But that's kind of how it was back then. You just wanted, like, everybody just wanted to jump into the pool like during the show. I don't know. It just was it was a different time.
Yeah.
And, so enjoyable.
And honestly, if anyone was like, hey, can I play with you guys next show? We'd be like, sure. Like it was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Play. We'd be like, yeah, come on over.
Yeah, we need a 5th trombonist for sure. We've been lacking that.
You all mentioned some of the groups that you opened for, played alongside. You said the Aggrolites, mentioned Sublime, right? No Doubt, right? Real Big Fish, Aquabats. Any surprise or any bands that would surprise fans to know about that you shared a bill with?
Well, I played with Neville Staple from the Specials for about 4 years.
Oh, when he was living here, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I shared the bill with a lot of people.
Yeah.
During that.
Yeah. Then I must have seen you at the old House of Blues Anaheim.
Yeah. So we did like a tour with Dave Wakeling.
Right.
I'm trying to think of other people, but yeah, like
how did you link with Neville back then?
So weird. It's just I lived in Long Beach, and it was so Ed Campworth, who was from Suburban Rhythm,
yep,
hit me up, and he's like, I'm playing with Neville. I don't know how that really transpired, but it was interesting because all of us in the band, because Chris Colonier from like Forces of Evil, Jeffrey's Fan Club, he played trombone, sang on that one, and then my friend Travis Laws playing guitar, and Chris Clausen, who was in My Superheroes, playing drums. So it was just like a cool lineup, but all of us were huge Specials fans.
Right.
So like the respect was like top notch. And but yeah, Ed was the one that formed that whole situation. But I don't know how we got
okay. Yeah, no, all good. Yeah. I remember what I remember about that House of Blues Anaheim show was, didn't Neville have really bad back then or something?
Yeah. There were tours where he would end with a cane.
I remember that.
That guy would still do toe touches like the next run. Like I don't know how he lived off of candy. That's all he ate was candy. But no, that was an interesting run.
Wow. Any other standout shows or artists that would surprise people Dean or Tami?
I think we were like pretty much if you were in Orange County or San Diego, we played with you. Like it was like anyone in that scene, we played a show with you, you know.
Right.
But no one like, oh my God, how would that happen? You know what I mean? Like everything was pretty like the scene at that time.
Except for that time we played with Lady Gaga. Don't forget
Yeah.
that.
That's so wild because she wasn't even around back then.
No, I think you're thinking of Lady Ska.
Oh, right. That's who it was. My bad.
Yeah. A question for all three of you. So, what would you consider some of your biggest career highlights?
It doesn't have to be on stage. Is it recordings? Is it
Fist fight after the money wasn't right? I don't. If that can be considered career highlights, but
I don't know how to answer.
Really?
Nothing else stands out.
I think releasing this Goodwin Club record has been a
I was
highlight.
going to say the same thing.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
And not like boasting about it, but like that was a big deal. Like that it was something. It took us 30 years to come out with it. Let's just start there.
We weren't in a dungeon working on it, but yeah.
Yeah, the entire time we didn't stop for 30 years, but finally we made the immaculate album. But just like being on stage with our friends, like that's my career highlight. Like I love getting together with Tami, with Jesse, with Rich, with Danny. Like well, the drummer. That could be
quote unquote
Shane, to be honest, or even whoever's next.
I do say, like, I remember the reason we even got back together wasn't even our choice, really. It was because Kevin from When I Open had a little record label for a while, and he put out our old album for like the 25-year reunion or something of it, anniversary of it.
And what was that album? What was that album called?
Soda. Yeah.
And Soda originally came out when?
94, I think.
It
was 94. Yeah, I think it was 94.
And he was like, well, now you have to play a show. And I'm like, what? You're crazy. Like, I don't even know where these people are, you know? And then it's like, well, I have a show for you at the House of Blues. You're headlining. And we're like, what? And so everyone together.
Wait, so is this
the money was right? So hey,
this was right after COVID. Now
this
wasn't money.
This is before.
Of course, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
2015.
And then when we got all in the rehearsal space, this was the highlight. It was as if we had never stopped playing together.
Wow! And had you all kept in touch at all over the years?
A handful of us had, and that was enough of us to like find everybody else, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So from 96-ish is when you broke up, right?
Yeah.
And primarily because people were
college basically. Yeah.
College life.
It wasn't other bands going on tour and things like that.
It wasn't any fist fights, as Junior would say.
No, it was just like we grew up, you know.
Like, well, there was a time that Chris broke a window, but you know.
So from 96 to 2015. Right?
Yeah.
No, later than 2015, yeah. When it was
2015.
Shut up.
It was 2015.
10 years?
In September 2015.
Seems like a lifetime.
Yeah, girl.
Seems like a lifetime.
Wow.
So you guys didn't miss were you playing in different bands at the time, or you were just studying, focusing on school, getting your PhDs?
Yeah, so to talk about the period from 96 to 2015, what you were all doing.
Oh, we all had very different
college.
So I went to art school.
100%.
Working as an artist. Now I'm a teacher.
Wow.
But yeah.
What do you teach?
Art.
Okay. Did you sing after Goodwin Club with any other band? Did you perform and sing on stage?
I did. I had a few bands after the Goodwin Club, but they weren't, you know. It was in LA. It's so dumb having bands in LA. No one cares.
They weren't the club.
What style of music?
I had like two different indie rock kind of bands, and then I also was in a drum and bass band.
Wow. Can you name them?
Yeah. So one was called Jumper one was called Dos Mutantes, and then the drum and bass one was called 0.5.
Wow. All
With
very
the Dos Mutantes after like a play on the Os
Like,
Mutantes?
exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And
So,
then right.
the same question for all three. What were you doing up from 2000,
Yeah.
from 96 to
Yeah,
2015?
Dean, what about you?
Me, I actually started working in a restaurant and became a restaurant manager, and I've been doing that ever since. I run a restaurant. I run a restaurant called BJ's Restaurants. I've been a general manager there for years, and that's what I was doing. And then all of a sudden, I got an opportunity to come back and play music again, and to be honest, found a part of my soul.
So you
So
didn't
it's
try to
been
find other
amazing.
bands to play with? Because it
No,
has 24 hours if you want to.
I
The week
I
has 7 days.
I pretty much I played with a few bands. They weren't anything. It was like a punk band or two, but I started playing a guitar instead. But I kind of lost my flavor for music. I started coaching soccer, and then besides coaching soccer, I coached women's soccer at local high school for about 4 years, and then like I said, I became a restaurant manager, and I love cooking. I love making food for people. I love making them happy, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Okay.
Slash playing in the Goodwin Club.
Right.
Because he's ours. You can't have him. He's ours.
Yeah, and I'm the worst member because I'm the one who can't ever show up to a show because I have to be there on the worst times,
Always
weekends, always.
Dean, you always want to be there. That's the best part. You're like,
100%. I want to quit my job and just be in the Goodwin Club. Yes, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But the
And
bills
if I get the
have to be
deal,
paid.
we're
bills
in.
have to be paid.
Bills have
Right.
to be paid.
Jesse from Boston. What about you?
In Boston.
In Boston, not from Boston.
Yeah, we're claiming him.
Don't make that mistake.
Yeah, that's right. We're claiming him.
I don't know. I've been in too many stupid bands that nobody comes to see. So here I am.
Come on. Let's hear.
You were in Heroes.
Yeah.
Teen Heroes was my second band, which did okay. Power pop band from the 90s.
Okay.
I was in a band called Pal with Scott Kloffenstein from Real Big Fish, Ed Campworth, Suburban Rhythm, and then Greg Parkin from the Scholars, also Littlest Man Band. We were 4-piece, and we recorded at John Avila's place.
Oh, wow.
From Oingo Boingo. We did this great record. You can find it on YouTube, but like it never got released because Mojo Records was like, nah, we don't want to release that. We're going to shelf it. So it never got released, but I still think it's really cool. I go back and listen to it every once in a while. That was really one of my favorite like recording sessions. So that was
we had the pleasure of interviewing John Avila.
Oh, dude, he's the best. I love that guy so much.
Brilliant.
I recorded 3 records with him, and I just went and saw him play with his like LA just jam whatever band.
Nice. And
we connected with him, and it's every time I see him, just like it's just such a pleasure.
Yeah.
Great dude. Yeah, so that was, I don't know, that was like 98, 99 situation. And then, like I said, like that band, we couldn't release our album. So I was like, well, then forget everything.
So essentially, you haven't left music.
I never stopped doing music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's 2000. What about
I had a band called I had a band called Force Field On, indie rock with horns, which is kind of what I continually do. Like I keep the horns in there, but I'm more of like an indie rock situation. Yep. And which was members of the Scholars, and I don't think anybody else. Brandon Laws, who I still currently play with in my new band, which is called Blue Ox, spelled BLUAUX. There's my plug. But pretty much similar situation. And then I was in a band called Makeshift Love Affair with Ed Campworth, and then I toured with Ed Campworth and this guy named Chris Kakavas. So yeah, there was a lot going on.
Oh, and you were in a Beatles cover band.
I was in a Beatles tribute band for about 4 years. That makes money.
What was the band called?
The Beatles tribute?
Yeah.
Abbey Road.
Abbey Road. All right.
Played some big venues, right? Played big venues, massive venues.
Yeah. So with the Abbey Road thing, There was we did a theater show as well as like a regular show. So we do like a two set. I'll tell you, man, it was crazy because you had to buy like all the real guitars like to match, and all the outfits and wear the put on the mustache.
Wait,
so there was a lot of money going into it.
Who were you? Who were you of the Beatles?
I was the tallest George Harrison you've ever seen. So I had to slouch a lot. But it was fun. It was fun. I had to wear 3 wigs, and I just got over it. But it was good money and good times, and I got to travel and play the Beatles, which I love. So
you traveled outside of US?
We went to Mexico a lot because Mexico loves the Beatles.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. And the tribute bands. I mean, yeah,
yeah. My sergeant.
And you're gone. Frozen.
Wait. Sweet face, Jesse.
Oh, wait, he's coming back.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
He's thinking about it.
It's all his choice.
All right, we'll come back to him.
So to all,
there he is. You're back.
Yes.
Oh, hey.
I'm running.
Yes.
Wait, so finish that thought. Oh, no.
Nope.
Dude.
Oh no, I was gonna say that.
I think he needs to find a location where he can get Wi-Fi.
I'm gonna say.
There you go.
You got it. Yep.
Oh, eep, orp, papa.
Eep, op,
What language is that, sir?
Just like from the Jetsons.
But yeah,
I was gonna say my Sergeant Pepper's hat for that band was $250. I'm just giving you like a little base rate on like how much my stuff costs.
Yeah, no, take it serious for sure. Yeah.
Sounds like the Goodwin Club costs more to be in the band than
it does.
Paid.
Let's talk about the costumes. Tell them about the costumes if I cut out.
Yeah. So every time you see us, we're dressed in a different theme, and it is tedious.
Awesome. No, it's awesome.
Or something.
In what sense is it tedious?
They just, we have to agree, which is usually 90% of the battle. And then you have to argue on who's going to be who. And then you got to get the costumes.
So that was, did you do that from day one?
Yes, not necessarily like theme based, but we were always dressed up. Yeah.
Yeah, we always wore something weird.
Yeah.
I wear many dresses I wore.
Yeah. And we always say that the early days of the Goodwin Club, there was a lot of chefs in the kitchen. And so there would never be an agreed upon theme, really. We would agree on something and everyone would come as completely different things anyways.
It was great. They came where they wanted to be.
And then there'd be 2 Smurfs and then a Mr. T and whatever. Like no one ever would do what they were told.
Yeah.
But it was always
and
funny,
2 Mortal Kombats.
Funny arrangement of people.
So what is the process like? The brainstorming process?
Now?
Yes, now.
Tommy tells us what to do.
It's a bunch of pictures.
Like, what about this? How about this? What about this?
And it'd be like, no, you're stupid. No way. I'm like, why do I always have to dress like a guy? And then
But I will say Danny's the best. Danny's
the best, yeah.
He is.
His Uncle Fester was like
spot on.
The guy got a
point.
light bulb. The guy got a light bulb to light up in his mouth.
Wow.
Just for one
and he put a piece of metal to make it light brighter. Yeah.
Talking about being innovative and creative, huh?
Yeah.
Would that be, because I was going to ask, like, what was the most extravagant, the wildest?
Oh, wait. This is what's happening behind me, so you know.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
What is that?
Baptism? What's going on back there? Oh.
Okay.
Hello.
Extravagant.
Or wildest surprise.
I thought the most fun one we did recently was Care Bears. We played.
Yeah.
That's
probably one of my favorites.
Reunion. Yeah, we looked.
Yeah, I agree.
Was that a garden amp?
No, that was at Glass House.
With the glass house. Okay.
Glass house.
Yeah, with the Aquabats.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
What did we do at Garden Amp? Oh, Karate Kid.
We did a Karate Kid, yeah.
We did Karate Kid again. Or Karate
I
Kid.
was a coward.
First time.
Was everyone wearing geese and
No.
Costumes and
Jesse was Daniel Russo in the shower. It was amazing. All the horn players were Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Tommy, were you Daniel Russo on that one?
In a skeleton outfit, like.
Oh, you're in a skeleton.
Yes. Okay, I've seen.
Oh, I think our drummer and our bass player, they were Daniel Russo or Miyagi-Do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Here's an idea. You can take this and run. One of these times, Scatolites.
How did I dress?
Hard.
It's gonna be rough to be an old black man playing saxophone on a chair.
Yeah. Real hard.
I respect him.
Seems like I got the old part down, but you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe
100%.
bad idea. Maybe let that one go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come up with some other good ideas.
Yeah.
That's wild. And you all have,
Ghostbusters.
What's that?
Thoughts, man. Shoot me down. Ghostbusters. We haven't done it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
But
Ghostbusters.
everybody has Ghostbusters.
You can timer. That's all I'm saying.
Sky's the limit when it comes to us.
You just show up.
Oh, let's talk about your release on Wiretap Records that came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that. The connection with the band. I mean, with the label. How did that come about?
And you were starting to say it was a proud moment too.
How did it come about? I don't know, Dean. You talk about that because I feel like you know more.
Well, you were on vacation when you came out.
I'm amazing. So yes. Actually, so it started out with our buddy Rich, who can't be here. I wish he could. He's just feeling under the weather. He's in Vegas. He's a producer, and he has his own studio. And someone had asked us to be on a Horchata Records compilation and redo some of the old Horchata Records stuff, which was for Go 13, their first album. And they said, what song would you like to pick? And we ended up picking Idiot Box, which, Aquabats covered later on as well. And we kind of made our own version of it. And we went in the studio. This is during COVID. It was like right before COVID, but ended up going into COVID. We ended up doing the track. And literally right after the track, Rich, myself, Chris, Tommy, Jesse, we all thought like it was so much fun to get back together and actually record. And we decided let's try and do something new. And our drummer, Chris, who used to be our old singer, came up with a song called Quarantine. And we went in the studio and we recorded it and added our little bits. And after doing that, it was like, you know what? We had so much fun being together. We weren't playing shows because it was during COVID, and we wrote some other songs. And then we wrote some other songs. We little by little went back in the studio and added our parts to it. And next thing we know, we were up to like 4 or 5 songs. And we're like, hey, we need like a 6th song to make an EP. So we just ended up going in and recording another song. And that was pretty much the end of it. We enjoyed playing in the studio as much as we used to enjoy playing together on stage, and it sparked our interest in trying to record new music, which we're going to continue to do, which is going to be great. We're going to have some new songs coming out, and we're going to go back and do some more stuff as well. But it was a long compilation. It took us probably about 3 or 4 years to put it out, but we were in no hurry because, to be honest, it had been 30 plus years. You know what I mean?
Right. And how was this so far?
Yeah, I want to go on the record and say also, after 32 years, it's Juneteenth 2025, and the Goodwin Club finally made history of LA Ska. But at least we made history, right? So thank you, Junior. Thank you, Eric, for making us be a part of it. But we finally made history after 32 years. And we're going to continue to work on something going forward.
Talk about. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Thomas.
As far as Wiretap, though, like us starting with them, I think Rich had a relationship with him, and we had sent the EP out to a few people, and he just was like, I get this. Like, I get what you guys are doing. Like, I remember you guys back then. Like, this is so fun. And he just like got behind it right away. And so that's how we ended up with like Wiretap.
And they're homegrown, I mean, Southern California or?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And talking
Fullerton even.
I think they are. You're right.
Maybe Placentia.
Talk about the single See All Color.
Wait, so
Ooh.
Chris wrote that one?
So Chris started that out with the lyrics of even worse. I have everything on lock, but it was like Hear All Color or something to do,
Something
or
like
the sounds turn color. That's what it was. And Rich and he sent it to us, and Rich and I were up trying to rewrite the song and stuff like that, and it kind of just came to me like See All Color. Like it was, I mean, it's ska, right? So it's like all about inclusive and unity and stuff like that. And we kind of just changed. It was just the tweak of that little bit of words, and then all of a sudden we kind of rearranged everything slightly. But it all kind of moved forward from there, and that was the first song that we did as a group, kind of coming up with like a brand new song that was like our own thing. And See All Color is just it's very inclusive, and that was the whole point of it.
But I even think as far as like the sound of that EP, that was a really important one for us, because it was like about like how full we were gonna make it sound, like how the horns were gonna be, like it was the
and that's all Rich for
like,
sure.
what are we gonna
Slap the Rich Z sticker on it.
Full,
that was the Richie
sort of
Z
orchestra sound, right? Full. That's what it means.
Prime Royal Studios.
Yeah. So I feel like that's
100%
important to the EP, as far as like we were like, okay, like that's
the sound we were going for.
It was the first time I feel like we were taking something seriously.
Yeah.
But we're still having fun, but like we're like,
that's true
crap,
too.
we have to take this seriously if we want it to be good. Like we can be like, let's poop out of something, or we can be like, we can make something really good. And hats off to Rich again, because Rich is the one that like made that really work for us. And but still in the same way that because we're all the same team, he knew how to do it and still keep the spirit of the band, but like this is the next level for us. Right?
Yeah, because I think it's always been like historically like very easy for us to be like kind of goofy and quirky and stupid, and then like in our old albums there was a couple like serious songs in there, and like ones we took seriously, and I think we kind of looked at those songs and we're like, okay, we have these like handful of decent songs from that first album, and like how do we like build off that, and not be these like teenage weird versions of ourselves,
Also Mike Burrell did a really good Rich impression just earlier today. What
was it? A lot of hands.
A lot of hands, and because he was talking about him coming into his bar for the first time, and I was like, oh, that's really good. Mike is actually really good at impressions. I was really impressed.
Two questions, two follow-ups. One is so how does the sound of your EP differ from your first, I guess, Soda, right?
Oh my God.
Well, it's 30 years later, so I hope it's better.
It wasn't recorded
that time we recorded that first album. That was the first time any of us had probably recorded in a studio. Any of us. We were recording on tape. We could only afford certain amount of reels of tape. So a lot that we did in one take. That was all you had.
I think we have a lot more like, I don't want to say like anthems, like a lot of sing-alongs. Not like our old songs were not, but I feel like our old songs were like really about the horn lines and maybe like a chorus, right?
Yeah.
But like this is all
having a good time.
Involved. Everything's involved with this new stuff. We're just more mature, right?
I Yeah.
Inclusive.
Yeah. And since we
the sing-along part is important to
Very,
us.
very.
Yeah.
absolutely for multiple reasons. So Rich, who as we've talked about is under the weather and can't join. One question, let's talk about him for a second. When did you all realize that he was becoming such a notable producer?
Oh, I don't know. He's been doing it forever.
I would say, I noticed in 1994, but I've known him my whole life.
From the very onset.
From very early on. All right.
Yeah. We ever since we were kids, like we grew up together. His dad owned the studio before he gave it to Rich. So he's always had an amazing ear for music.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny. I went down to his studio for maybe the first time, because I was looking for producing work. I was like, I want to, produce some records. And I went down there and he had like somebody in the studio and we were going through that guy's song and I was thinking of things. And then like Richard would just say the same thing I was thinking. And, and like, I was like, you don't need me here. Like, you're doing a fantastic job. Like, no. So, but it's because he and I have a good connection that way though, too, when it comes to things where we're like, make sure that we don't include the ego. And, but I don't know, he's so modest too, but because he's been doing it for so long. There's so many different styles of music that I've heard that I'm like, that's also a gift too, to be able to produce like a pop album and then do like some grungy record or whatever,
like a gospel album and then like
you're right.
Yeah.
It takes some big talent.
He's the man, the myth, and the legend, eh?
Yeah, someday you'll meet him.
Yes, no, for sure.
If you're lucky.
So you all started working with Daryl Rubio recently, right? Daryl's working with you all, I should say.
Yes.
Talk about what lies ahead, though, for the Goodwin Club by way of upcoming shows, music, anything else.
Lots of really broken band thread.
Yeah.
That we can't fix. We don't know how to fix the 3 band threads that we have in our text.
Not smart enough.
And everybody's like, am I in the right thread? Is this the right thread? This is the wrong thread. How do we get?
You need to delete them all and start over.
We do need to do that. It's so weird. Like you'll answer and it'll pop up in an entirely different thread. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Our next show is July 25th at Toxic Toast
in Long Beach, right?
With Metascophiles. I should have.
Yeah.
Or what are the other bands, guys?
Louser, Chris Grau.
Chris, who plays trumpet for us, Louser.
Yeah.
There's 2 other bands though. I feel terrible. I can't think of them right now.
Well,
whatever. On our Instagram, you can look it up.
Yes. And have you all played with Metascophiles before?
No.
I have, but I think that was not this group.
Right. Yeah, and I haven't been to Toxic Toast in Long Beach yet.
Well, it was for a long time.
It's a cool spot. It's a cool store, and it's a really cool little venue.
Yeah, it's a good size.
And Jesse can get you in too, by the way.
No, all right, there we go.
In the back.
We know the back door.
We're great. We're great roadies. We're great roadies, so we'll help. And then are you working on any new songs?
In theory.
In your heads?
We are.
Yeah.
We have there's like some rough drafts out there.
We have like 2 or 3, but we need to get together and work them out.
We gotta hash them out. Yeah.
You guys do cover songs at this stage of your career?
Maybe in the covered out right now. I think we're gonna take a break from the covers for a little bit because there is the Taylor Swift one on the EP.
Our Taylor Swift cover is amazing. Just for the record, you should check it out. It kills it.
It'd take a little break.
Nice.
But in your live set, do you do covers as well?
During our last song, Turkey Tit, there's a middle part that we usually throw a quick bit of a cover in it. Recently, we've been doing Operation Ivy sound system in there, but we change it up often. So we do kind of.
We're always here to surprise you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Keep everyone on their toes.
So
Sprinkle of magic. That's all. Just a little
And
sprinkle.
then, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt everyone.
No.
I was just continuing with the show thing. So then in the end of August, we're going on like a quick little mini tour through Arizona. And then in September, we've got another little mini tour. Where's that one? Vegas? Where's that one?
Yeah,
Fresno. Up north-ish.
Vegas, right?
No.
Yeah.
Combo thing. Yeah.
Nice. That's great.
right.
Yeah.
So I'd be remiss not to ask all three of you to compare and contrast the Orange County ska scene of the 90s with today, the contemporary era.
Compare them
And contrast.
and contrast. That's a
ABC, I know.
to me, I'll go first, and then I feel like those two are gonna have a lot to say. To me, back then, there was so many bands. There were so many bands. And the camaraderie was incredible. The friendships was incredible. Nobody was competitive. It was just like, we're all in this. You want to play? Come play with us. Come play. You want to be on this show? Come play with us. We would play so many shows. It also, everything was all ages.
Yeah.
And so it was, you had, your exposure was, you know, pretty much like any high school in the Southern California area, you had some sort of connection to. They did fun things like John Pano would give, if you were the first like 50 people to the show, you'd get a free tape of every band that was playing that night. Like there was just things that were like exciting and interesting back then that I think it's lacking now. Now it seems so organized. Everything's like pre-canned, tours coming in. There's fewer shows, like the sort of like DIY, like fun of it all is not there like it used to be. That's just my opinion though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Dean, Jesse, your thoughts?
Okay. Jesse, you're not frozen? All right, good.
I thought he fell into
Jesse was in deep thought. He was not frozen.
He was in super deep thought.
Hold on. First,
No,
Jesse,
I was going to say,
out there, and
I feel like Tommy was like, oh, they're going to have a lot to talk about. But I feel like Tommy summed it up for me. It's so different. You know, I've been on the road for a couple of weeks, and this is my third tour with Bite Me Bambi, and it's just different. Yeah, because it was definitely more about. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna close with I blame the internet.
Yeah.
just show up with your cassette tapes and be like, hey, want to hear my band? Like that's, for me, that's where it's at. And you know, call me old school, but that's just the love. The love was so much more flowing. And not that like this tour is great. The love is amazing. Actually, all these bands, the heart is there. This has been so great, this tour. But like in general, you got to keep up with your content and you got to do all this bullshit. But like that's not what it's about. So like just go out and play your music, and people are gonna love you for what you're playing, not for what you're wearing tomorrow. I don't know.
Well, right, and then there's just, you know, it takes a lot to get fans off the couch, right, and to get out of their house.
Yeah.
But I've heard from more than one musician.
Everyone was like, "Oh, I miss shows. I miss shows," and now they're like, "Eh, never mind then."
But I've heard that from more than one musician. The camaraderie in Southern California, they haven't seen it on the East Coast and elsewhere.
Yeah, it was really like a effort back then.
Yeah.
I agree with both Tommy and Jesse. I feel like there was a lot of like, I mean, that's what ska was. That's what ska is about the unity and the camaraderie. And a lot of that came with like people not being threatened by other people, just wanting to play with other people and be a part of it. And a little bit now it's more about a competition, but it shouldn't be a competition. The whole point of us is unifying and being together and coming together and being a part of this movement to grow our scene and give our music to other people. And I feel like it's kind of gone away a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it's completely gone away. There's a lot of bands out there and a lot of people out there who are all about that. And I just hope that we align ourselves with those kind of bands, because that's the most important thing. Like the whole point of ska is unity. And like I said before, this is a big day for everybody and for unity. So I really want for us to come together and not really have competition with each other, and know that we're in the same boat, trying to row the boat in the same direction, And
Also, your show,
I think we can come there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like competition really. It's just there's just not the amount of shows there used to be. Like
venues, not too many venues,
Right.
very few
Right.
venues,
Especially
in comparison to back then.
you'd play every week.
Yeah.
Place back,
Right.
like random people,
Yeah.
kids would just be like kids in high school. Hey, I found this venue. They'd put a show together, and it'd be like a proper show, not just like in someone's house.
Right.
Like
And that's why everybody can come play my garage.
Yeah, we can play Jesse's garage.
I'm serious. Like legitimately, I made my garage into a music venue so people can just come through and play my garage.
Where do you
Not a joke.
Now or back then?
In Long Beach.
All right. Nice.
Oh, you're saying now, contemporary.
Now,
Yeah.
it's on Indie on the Move. It's on Bands in Town. You can look my garage up and book a show in my garage.
On Sundays.
Junior's a promoter right here, so he'll be in touch.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, not a joke at all. Yeah.
It's not a joke.
Not a joke over here either.
But there we go. No one's joking. I love it.
But I started it because I was noticing bands like the pay to play thing.
Yes.
And the like, how much do you draw? Like, I'm tired of that crap. I still have to deal with that. I'm too old for that stuff. And so like seeing young people trying to like just find a place to play is ridiculous to me. So I'm like, play my garage. I got a backstage. There's a fridge back there. Legit spot.
There we go.
BYOB, bring your own booze.
I love that. I know we just scratched the surface here, but what else is important for you all to share to our listeners and viewers and your fans, maybe old fans or soon to be converted fans that you want to make sure to share before we wrap this up?
I would say go out and see a show, go support your bands, buy their merch, come see us. We promise we're going to work our asses off to make sure you have fun more than anything. We'll put in more than any other band.
I love it.
I'll quote the Goodwin Club: have a lot of fun, have a good time. That's what we're all about, and that's what the scene is all about. Come out, and I promise you we'll have it.
Come to us for lots of hugs and weird outfits.
And so for people who want to check out your last year release, what's the title again, Eric? What's the title?
Club?
Yes.
Join the club.
Join the club. Join the club.
Easy to remember.
I should be on all platform, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's on all platforms. Yeah.
Of course.
And then we have a music video for See Out Color and Join the Club. That
also
you can
my Chris Grau.
YouTube and yeah.
Yes. Anything happening on the streets out there before we wrap this up, Jesse?
Boston.
I mean, I was about to go pee with you guys not knowing it, but I'm not going to do that.
We will let you. We're gonna relieve you.
Wait, you guys want to go see the Bite Me Bambi kids before?
Yeah, let's say hi to them real quick.
All right, hold on.
Well, that's real.
This is also a first. Although we have spoken with Talena before, but
Bands via Zoom.
Let's see.
They're still here. I thought maybe they left me.
Are they still there?
They're still here.
They're on to the next.
Oh, the band's not gone. Oh, thank goodness.
Here we go.
Modern technology.
This is a first. This is
This
is gonna win us some Emmy of some sort. I don't know what. Hello, Bambi.
You're wondering who the hell it is.
Yeah.
I know. They're like,
It's Junior and Eric. Hello there.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I guess we reach out.
Tami, Jesse, Dean, thank you all very, very much.
Any closing thoughts
before
before
really
we pull it out? any closing thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you for taking the time and investing your time in the Goodwin Club, because we never thought that
anyone
people would care at this point. We always did, but we didn't,
People care, and we're going to catch one of your shows this year.
And we should do that. We should do this again when your next album comes out.
There we go.
Yeah, working on it.
We'll get it going.
Right.
Happy Juneteenth. Unity.
Yeah.
Juneteenth.
come
Most
to
definitely.
the Long Beach show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll put you guys on the list.
Memphiscopoulos. I actually don't think I've ever seen Memphiscopoulos.
Well, there you go.
There we go. This will be a
So for the benefit
Here's your
of those who are watching, what's the date again?
July 25th.
There you go. This should
Friday.
this would
July
be
25th.
Yes, for sure.
fantastic.
All right.
All right. Well,
Thank you so much.
yes, and thanks to everyone for the ongoing support. And please subscribe to this podcast series and YouTube channel. Follow us at History of LA Ska on Instagram and join our Facebook group. This series is produced by Rockery Radio. It's EK Eric Kohler.
Junor,
Thanks for your
thank you.
fantastic work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we're glad that the Goodwin Club has reunited back in 2015 and that you're keeping it going.
And thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Goodwin Club, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Take care of yourself.
Thanks for making history.
Yes.
You guys are making
We're going to leave you with this. Please do your part to celebrate and
Yes.
preserve the scene. Get out and support. Come on out, put on your dancing shoes, and enjoy yourself. Much love and be well, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
All right now. Take care.